In this tutorial, I'm going to be discussing the buttons widget. The buttons widget is an easy way to add a single or multiple buttons to a certain section of your website. Those buttons can serve a variety of functions, such as sending an email. You can link to an external website, such as Facebook. You can even start a phone call with the button. So in order to create a button, you would simply add the widget. Now, you may have noticed that there's button sections within other widgets, such as the header and the content block have button sections in there as well. And these function pretty much identical to the way buttons are made here, except the buttons widget is for creating just buttons, and that's what we're going to be discussing in this video. So once you've created your buttons widget, you would simply see this is a list of buttons is empty. So in order to add an actual button, you would simply click add a button, and this is going to take you to that buttons page. And you can see down here the button's created at the top, but there's nothing in it. In order to determine what the button does, you would choose the link type here, and there's many different link types. For example, if you want to go to a different page within your website, a different internal page, you can open up a separate page within that same site. So if I wanted to go to the second page, you can choose an internal page. Or if you wanted to link to an external website, such as a completely different Google or like Facebook, you can link externally through there. And you can even scroll to a certain page section or widget with this link. And this one's pretty interesting. You would simply choose the widget you want to scroll to. Like for example, if I wanted this to scroll all the way down to the bottom, you would simply choose the bottom widget, and then you can give this some text like scroll to bottom so that people know that it scrolls to the bottom. Let's just see how this looks real quickly. You can even add an image from like our global media library over here. We have hundreds of free images to use, or you can drag and drop from your computer right here, or even use the browse function. You can also choose one of our many free icons for your buttons as well. So we have many icons available for you to use. Let's just say I wanted to use like a down arrow just to show that this is heading down. So I would simply click the down arrow here, and you can save this, and you're going to see it has now created that button. It says scroll to bottom, and it has a little down arrow icon. You can click that, and you see it'll scroll all the way down to the bottom. And then if, let's say, for example, you wanted people to scroll all the way back up because they'd already reached the bottom, you can put a button that does the same thing. You would simply scroll it all the way up to the top one, and then it'll function the exact same. As far as the other link types, they're pretty self-explanatory once you kind of get into them, but you can send an email to, like let's say you wanted to send an email, wanted people to send an email to you, you would simply type your email address here, and it would create that button, and then people would be able to click that, and it would open up their email application, and they'd be able to send an email to you easily. You can even start a phone call here. You can type your phone number if you want people to reach you. They can do it with a single press of a button, or even send an SMS message, such as like a text message, or that's very easy. A lot of people prefer that. So if you wanted people to text you instead, you can use that with the button. You can even do a Skype call as well. So if you have a Skype account, you would simply type your Skype account name right in there, and then people can call you on Skype. They can even use WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger chat, which is pretty neat. WhatsApp is a free messenger program. You can download that and simply type in your WhatsApp mobile number, and then they can reach you through that way, or Facebook Messenger, which is linked to your Facebook profile. So once you've determined what it is you want your button to do, you would simply give it the text and icons and image if necessary, and then you make sure it's saved, and then you would go back to the buttons menu. You can do that by clicking the menu here by going back, or clicking the back button right down here on the bottom. Once you go back to the buttons menu, you'll see that button we just created is right down there. You'll see it's right there, and it still functions. It scrolls right down to the bottom. And you can add multiple buttons on the same widget. So if you wanted to do like, email me, call me, everything, you can do all that in one big bundle. So let's just create a second one just so you can see how this works. And then if you wanted people to email me, you would simply set that email, and you can see it has created the second button directly below that. As far as mobile is concerned, it's going to usually be a lot smaller on screens, so it's going to automatically organize that for you. But you can also determine the number of columns, especially on desktop, how it's arranged. So if you go ahead, and we can see this on full screen, we go to the full site, you can see it has the two buttons right there, right on top of each other. If you wanted to arrange it in columns of 2, you would simply click 2, and you can save that. And if we go back to the main site here and refresh this, You can now see it has rearranged this into columns of two, putting them right next to each other. So that's an easy way to arrange your buttons on desktop. And as far as additional options, they're pretty much all the same as all the other widgets. We have the ability to require login or mobile only or desktop only. This is actually really useful for buttons as well, because let's say that you have a business and you want people to call you. You can put your call me button and then switch that to mobile only, because most people don't ever call from a desktop, so there's no reason to even show it on that desktop screen. You can, however, put your Skype or your email on a desktop and as well as mobile, but have the mobile only, just for calling. And that's an easy way to do that. So once you've set everything and all of your buttons are set, you can rearrange it within the main widget page. So if you were to drag and drop this below the content block, you can see the buttons are now below there. So that's an easy way to keep buttons together and rearrange them with this buttons widget. The Facebook like box allows you to easily link a Facebook page to your website and allow users to like that page and follow you directly from your website. So in order for this to work, this means you have to have created a page on Facebook. You can do that from facebook.com, and once you've logged into your profile and created a page, simply copy the URL at the very top, and then you would go to our platform and go to the site you wish to add the box to. Simply click add a widget, and it's located down here near the bottom. Once you've added this, it's going to ask for the URL for the page. Simply paste that right there. And you can see here on our right, this is our lawyer site, kind of for demonstration purposes. If we were to scroll all the way down at the bottom, you'll see there's nothing there. That's because we haven't saved it yet. But you'll notice once we save this, and when we scroll all the way down to the bottom again, you can see it has added our Facebook page right there. Users can easily click that button right there in order to like the page, and that'll increase your likes and help expand your reach. You can show different tabs right over here. So if you had anything like recently on your timeline, or messages that you wanted to display off, or even recent events. We don't have any events coming up, but if you were to click that and add that, you can see it'll add the tab right there. It says we do not have any upcoming events. You can also even do faces of people that are fans of the page. You can show a little small box of faces, even a smaller header. So if you see here how large this is and the like button is down below, if we were to save this and get rid of the events and scroll all the way down, you can see it's a lot smaller now. So all the additional options are pretty much all the same as all the other widgets. You can require whether it's logged in, whether or not it is visible only on mobile or desktop, and the additional styles are very similar as well. You can determine the space that it takes up on the desktop, the margins. You can add custom class if you know CSS, and even change the background. We have solid colors, images, even videos, and you can change animation styles. So the Facebook like box is very easy to use. Simply create the widget. You can add titles if you want up here, and then paste the URL of your page, and you're all ready to go.